Right, okay John, I'm now going to show you the changing effects of the rudder at the stall and what happens if you start misusing the rudder at the stall. So let's just remind ourselves of what the rudder will do. So we're now flying at the normal gliding attitude. If I now put in right and then left rudder, you get lots of yaw, but not much roll. Okay, as you'd expect. If I now slow the glider down to just on the edge of the stall, so we're just in the buffet, just there now. Now if I do the same again, you'll see there's lots of roll and not much yaw. And if I kept the rudder over, there's a very good chance it should actually depart into a spin. So to recover, stick century forward, regain flying speed, turn to normal gliding attitude. So as you can see, if you abuse the rudder at the stall, it has quite a big impact on the way the glider behaves. Right, now I'm going to have a look at the spin off a tight turn. We won't go into a full departure, we'll just let it, full spin, we'll just let it depart. But what I want you to note is the attitude and the speed at which she departs, okay? Because the attitude will be relatively flat and the speed will be higher than the normal unaccelerated stalling speed, and the rate at which we depart into the spin will be relatively high as the wing is loaded up in the turn. So, as I mentioned before, people inadvertently spin or stall because of distraction or they're under pressure. So let's set ourselves up in that scenario. And the scenario that you can imagine is you've just got airborne, a northwest run, out of TALGARTH, you've just airborne, and bang, rope breaks. So you're not concentrating on the glider, you whack it round, and she departs. I'll do that again. So we get a launch failure, bang, you roll her into the turn, and you pull, and she goes at 40 knots there. The rate at which she went in and departed, we'll do one more. Notice how quickly that right wing drops into the departed spin. The nose attitude is relatively flat as well. So here we go. So you're turning back to the airfield, you turn a bit too tight, she departs quite quickly from what would be into a developed spin. In fact, if I just notice how it now, if I do one more, I'm at 1500 feet, if I turn, bang, turned, pull, bang, you hit the ground. We lost 200-300 feet in that. So it's very important, blogs. You get a launch failure, you maintain correct flying speed with your recovery speed that you've decided your eventualities, keep the string in the middle, keep flying the glider. Do not be distracted by the pressure of turning back towards the airfield. As soon as you start to see any symptoms of the stall or the spin, you must make sure you take corrective action. Stick forward, regain flying speed, return to normal gliding attitude. Okay John, now we're going to talk about what happens if you mishandle the glider at the stall. This is also sometimes used as an exercise of stall spin recovery from a failed winch launch failure, but obviously we don't do winching here at TALGARTH. So the first thing we're going to do is just going to do a bog standard normal unaccelerated stall. Here we go. And just note the attitude on recovery. There's the attitude on recovery there, okay, so just return to normal gliding attitude. Okay, what I'm going to do now is, like as we've been discussing, it's all about distraction and not doing the correct thing, not recognising the symptoms of the approaching stall or spin. So let's just set up the scenario where you are on the approach and you inadvertently stall, but you recover, you don't let the glider accelerate before you then select air brakes, and we'll see what happens. So we'll just inadvertently stall. You'd have to be ham-fisted to do this, but it does happen. So you let the glider stall on the approach, you go, oh bloody hell, it's stalled. So recover, you see the attitude there, and then select air brakes. And I've got the stick well back now, and its indicated airspeed of 45 knots. So the wing was stalling with the air brakes wide open. Notice there that the air brakes would have hidden any pre-stall buffet. Right, so we'll just do that again. So you stall, inadvertently stall. You recover, you see the attitude, and you select air brakes. It sticks back. It's right back now. Right back on my belly now. Glider's stall. To recover, stick century forward, regain flying speed. Shut the air brakes, return to normal gliding attitude. Now let's do that again. Let's just imagine that you're on base leg this time, and you inadvertently stall on base leg, and then you try and turn onto finals, and let's see what happens if you don't let the glider accelerate properly before you manoeuvre. So off we go. To inadvertently let the glider stall, exaggerated form here, to stall, recover, there's your attitude, and you want to turn now. We're departing, bang! You're going to hit the ground. So it's really important that you allow the glider to accelerate to flying speed before you manoeuvre. Don't start manoeuvring as soon as you see the attitude. You've got to let the glider accelerate. So the correct thing in that example would have been, if we go back to that inadvertent stall, stall the glider, you go, oh dear, I've stalled. Recover, regain flying speed, return to normal gliding attitude, then manoeuvre. Right, we'll just do that again because it wouldn't be turning into the normal gliding attitude in that particular example. So you let the glider stall, inadvertently stall, you go, oh dear, I'm stalled. Stick century forward, regain flying speed, then manoeuvre. Okay, so I started manoeuvring at 55 knots then.